Tell me your story.
I was this close to dying from a brain abscess that was misdiagnosed.
Good to know people care, though.
For a lot of people, the MRIs are clear.
You said you had a lot to tell.
Oh, yeah.
Someone said,
I thought it was normal to have like seizures by yourself all the time.
You definitely will feel guilt a lot.
I so appreciate you putting this together.
thank you. New guidance on seizures, driving, and medical reporting. Says the first updated guidelines for seizures. And says the first updated guidelines for seizures, driver's license, and medical reporting in nearly 2 decades reflect a shift in toward medical advisory boards to determine driver license for individuals with epilepsy and greater physician flexibility and immunity in reporting unsafe drivers. The consensus position statement was developed by experts from the American Academy of Neurology and the American Epilepsy Society and the Epilepsy Foundation of America. This is the first joint position statement on this issue from all 3 organizations since 1994, updating the AAN's consensus positions published in 2007. There's been a lot of different pieces of evidence that have come in since that time, and that growth of evidence most motivated the AAN and the other organizations that an update needed to be issued. Lead author and associate professor of neurology, Yale School of Medicine, New Haven, Connecticut, Benjamin Tolchin, MD, told Medscape Medical's reliance on empirical data, not anecdotes. The position statement, which includes 10 key consensus positions based on unanimous agreement of the author panel, followed by the review and approval of 3 organizations. The update recommends that regulations around driving and epilepsy should be based on empirical evidence rather than tragic individual cases or anecdotes, which in the past have unfortunately driven some driving regulations, Tolchin said. The evidence has established that there is a modest but real increase in motor vehicle accidents for individuals with epileptic seizures compared with the general population. The risk of fatal MVA, however, is not higher than the general population and is significantly lower for individuals with alcohol use disorder, young drivers, and distracted drivers. That's important in terms of putting a risk to public safety in context with other comparable risks, he said. The risk of reoccurrent seizures and MVAs, what's that? Oh, motor vehicle accidents also goes down with longer seizure-free intervals with progressively reduced risk, 6 to 12 months of freedom. New evidence, however, shows that universal legal requirements for seizure-free intervals longer than 3 months do not necessarily reduce MVAs or fatalities, as was demonstrated when Arizona cut its seizure-free interval from 12 months to 3 months. Oh, man. New role for medical advisory boards. A key new recommendation calls for a minimum of 3 months seizure-free interval, extended based on individualized consideration and favorable and unfavorable factors assessed by a medical advisory board with input from treating practitioners. The position statement includes a number of factors for the advisory board to consider in setting the seizure-free interval. It also suggests the medical advisory board in every state should should include at least one clinician with experience in treating epilepsy and other alterations in consensus. Since the state of Maryland implemented this strategy in 2003, just 2 MVAs associated with seizures have been reported. The consensus documents notes Tolchin acknowledged the new recommendation will require an investment in public safety by states, many of which will have a single blanket seizure free interval over longer than 3 months. But is this the best way to balance very legitimate concerns of public safety while at the same time protecting patient autonomy and welfare? Mandated reporting nixed. Another key recommendation is that practitioners should not be mandated to report seizure activity. Instead, they should have discretion to notify licensing authorities, especially when they believe a patient is driving unsafely against medical advice. There is now a growing body of evidence that the mandated reporting by clinicians does not, in fact, reduce motor vehicle accidents or motor vehicle fatalities, but does undermine the therapeutic alliance and increase the likelihood of patients withholding information from their clinicians and the likelihood of patients driving without a license. Yeah, there's a bit here. It's basically saying that people aren't reporting to their doctors. I can go. Want me to keep reading?
That's what I gathered. No, that's what I gathered out of it so far, that it's clear that people with seizures get into accidents more often. And the that was like reinforced by the state that went from 12 months to 3 months, and then their levels increased, their motor vehicle accidents increased. So that
I
article
think
just,
they were saying that
yeah.
they did not increase. I think they were saying there was no increase, and they think it was because of no reporting of seizures. I can get
There was
you
no
Rick's
increase in
answer.
accidents, or
There was no increase in accidents.
oh,
Um,
okay.
um, Rick's response to this might put a little bit into perspective.
Yeah.
It says, "Thanks for sharing this article. I've been reading through the new AAN and AES position statement. And for me, the debate comes down to the individual responsibility versus blanket laws. The article pushes for a default 3-month seizure-free interval and individualized assessments, but it also recommends that doctors should not be mandated to report us to the DMV to prevent patients from hiding symptoms. That opens up a lot of gray areas. I actually experienced this conflict recently after my seizure this year. I waited my state's mandated 6 months when the time was up. I was legally and medically cleared to drive. However, I was in the middle of transitioning to my 3rd medication of the year, and I felt off. Interesting. The new guidelines explicitly say driving should be paused during medication tapering and switches, something my state doesn't exactly specify, but I felt intuitively I chose not to drive even though I was allowed to. On the flip side, I know that people who are 100% should not be driving. Oh no, it says I know people who are 100% should not be driving, but if there weren't mandatory restrictions, they would be on the road. So the question to the group is, do you agree with the push for a shorter 3-month restrictions if it means more individual responsibility? Or do we need the strict government safety nets because the honor system doesn't work? I don't think if you got to leave it to people to go report their seizures, they're not, especially if you can drive if you don't have reported seizures. I don't trust the humans. I'm sorry. Um, yeah, not all the humans are not trustworthy, but a lot of them are not trustworthy, especially when it comes to driving. You can just be like, oh no, I didn't have a seizure in 6 years and haven't. been to the emergency room for one. Yeah. Thoughts on that, Toaster?
Honestly, if you have seizures, you shouldn't drive. That is my take, and I will stand by it.
Right.
But I do believe it's an individual basis and open to the doctor's decision. Like some people only have seizures while they're asleep in that sleeping state. You don't sleep while you're driving, you're awake then. That might be a little bit different. But you have to, even people who have night seizures sometimes will have day seizures. I don't know. Still, I'm not a doctor. My thought is if it's it's too dangerous for it's too dangerous for that little kid in the back seat that I would be driving to Taekwondo.
Right. Yeah, I don't trust myself or anyone else who has epilepsy just because there's the possibility. Yeah. I don't take big risks like that anymore.
I do think it should be more up to the doctor and
Correct.
case by case basis, though, because you
I
have
understand.
some of our friends haven't had a seizure in over 3 years.
Nope, I'm still on driving.
That's pretty good.
I can't help but think of all those posts that come to mind about 10 years. After 10 years, after 6 years, I had a seizure out of nowhere. And those, I don't notice any consensus. It's not like always in women or always in, those with frontal lobe or those with like diagnosed earlier in life. Like there's no telling which cases are not going to be totally controlled. And I mean, think about it. If it really is the medication that's helping control the seizures, it's already proven that we develop a tolerance, that a tolerance will be developed to these medications after a certain amount of time. That's why you just always have to plan on increasing the dose. So I don't know. That's probably just my opinion since I'm like trying to go 2 weeks. So
Exactly.
yeah, that works
What's the
too.
longest you went?
Not counting that. I think 2 months. I think I did get more than 2 months, but I keep thinking of it in like terms of trimesters. Like during the pregnancies, it was always worse, but that's when I kept track of the seizures a lot more. And then same thing with like the 2, 3 years after when with the breastfeeding. Like hormones are just my fucking enemy. So
So,
yeah, I think 3 months.
what's the longest you went without medication?
Like the first 15 years of my life. And who
No,
knows how
I
long I was
mean,
undiagnosed.
recently, since you haven't been taking the medication, how often
10
has it
days.
been?
10 days. Before that, the most was ever one day. And the one
Oh,
day that's
nice.
kind of how oh no, for the EMUs, I went 2 days. And that was 2 EMU stays.
Okay.
Yeah. So most I ever went before that was 2 days, but then I was trying to like not eat. And that's the other thing too. I don't know if the seizure today might have been because of the food. I've been like my appetite is gone since I've been off the medication. And this is
Mm.
the second time I went it would have been like 30 a little over a day without eating anything. And who knows, I drank just as much, but that's another thing that always helped trigger the seizures for the EMU stays. So, maybe I just have to pay a little more attention to that to get more Fig Newtons. You know,
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, hi, everybody.
hey, I
How you
love your
doing?
shirt.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have two more of them in black. one with one hand and two with both hands.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm doing great. I just came from my second walk of the day, Kate.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Oh, it's got to be nice out there. What is it out there? Hot or you still chill?
It's probably around 80 now
Damn.
with no humidity.
Okay.
Probably like
That makes a big
12%
difference.
humidity. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I walked probably almost a mile and a half and I didn't sweat at all.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
That sounds fun.
it
Just to be
is.
out and walking around. Today's the first, winter day around here. Florida winter, by the way, is 70. So that was like the
Right.
coolest it's been in a long time. So
Mm.
that's definitely conducive for another walk later. And if it stays this way through Friday, I might go fishing. I don't know.
Boy, fishing. I mean, I used to go fishing every weekend. I had a friend that
Apparently,
had a,
I was told that I used to go fishing, but I don't remember it at all. So my friend from today, I was just like, no, I've never been fishing before. And come to find out I have. What were you saying, your friend?
before the Hamptons became the Hamptons. Uh, what my brother had a house out there, and we used to go every weekend because one of our suppliers hated him but liked me, and we used to go out fishing every day, and we would get on the dock at 6 o'clock in the morning, smoke a joint, have a beer, and head out on the water. And I
Oh,
hated
you went out on
fishing.
the boat.
Yeah, and I hated
Nice.
fishing, but it was so much fun.
You hated it.
I
What was
hated
the
it,
part
but it
that you
was so
hated?
much
Just like
fun.
the bait or that
Hated
like it was
fishing.
gross?
Yeah, it was gross, and I didn't like fish.
Okay.
So, but I like being out and on the water and being stoned.
There you go.
It is nice.
I don't know if I would risk going on the water at this point, but I'll try the bridge.
Okay. Backing back to the driving. I
Yeah,
do
yeah.
believe that I can drive a boat.
Like legally or actually
Oh no, I can't
safe,
legally,
safe.
but
Oh,
safely.
okay.
Driving a boat
Okay.
is different than, of
A
course, I'm
vehicle.
also,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm also not allowed to drive a ride-on lawnmower. Boating is different. It really is. I miss my boat.
It's much different. You're out in the water, open water.
Out in open water, there's not, honestly, there's no one to really hit.
Right.
By the time you fall over and the gas just sputters out, you're not going to roll off the side. Now, I would not drive the boat to like one of those parades that used to happen only on the Sound, where there's lots of open space just to get away from the jellyfish.
Excuse me?
The other jellyfish, the ones I don't want Jeffy to swim with.
Okay.
You're okay.
I take
Not
it
the
as a
hairy.
personal insult.
I'm sorry, not the hairy fish, the stingy ones.
Okay.
Oh gosh, I didn't mean that. But no, there were jellyfish out there too. So he's met you, or at least some cousins. Okay, I'm going to stop.
Okay.
We
We
should
could
make
both get in
that
trouble here.
that's gonna be such a rule now. When Toaster's putting out a really good story, we all have to mute. Just let her keep talking, please. Precious.
That's almost every day now.
Nice. All right, so let us know how it goes if you get back out on the water. If you know, however it goes, have somebody else there to record and document pretty well how it goes. Talk about gathering some data.
Look when my mother rolls.
Wow, that's beautiful. That's like literally professional.
Yeah, yeah. You.
Talia
I
quit
just get
talking
the
shit since
papers.
I told her she could call me a stoner.
Oh,
Stoner.
Oh, she's never been able to call mom anything, so I told her like pothead, stoner, you can go with like hip, like she didn't know the synonyms, I don't think, for somebody who smokes weed, and I threw some out there and she was like, "Wait, so I can that's you?" It's like I guess you can go with that. And she hasn't said anything since. So there's another one here about why do you accept, oh, go ahead. What were you saying, Boogie?
Oh no, go ahead. I'm
Okay.
gonna transport to a different room. Go ahead.
Okay. When do you accept your meds aren't working? I've changed medications 3 or 4 times now, and lacosamide just isn't working. I've had the least mental impact. Oh no, it's had the least mental impact. So I've really not wanted to give it up, but I'm having TCs every couple weeks for months now. Next appointment is in April, and this is what we will cover. I'm just curious how other people handle it. A seizure every couple weeks for months. So that's long enough to, I guess, figure that's just how many seizures you have. And hey, if you're not happy with that, then it's not working. I don't know if lacosamide is one of those that they stop like pretty quick, or if you have to titrate off that one really slow. But the part where you start a new medication when you're still taking the old one, that's the most annoying for me, because that's what makes me feel like I'm going to be dependent on like a higher dose of an AED or benzo, and when I stop one, it's going to cause a seizure, just like the withdrawals from getting off the one that's already not working. It's like a really long process, and I have to feel like I'm more likely to have a seizure for like 2 months.
I'll be back later.
All right, see you in a little bit.
Love you guys.
See you
All right.
soon. And what was your strategy on when a medication doesn't work?
They
The next
just keep
appointment's not
adding
till
more.
April. Yeah. So have you ever come across a doctor where you go in with like a game plan of your own? This medication's not working. I've documented it really well, so I would rather not add another one, but switch. And have you ever actually like had a doctor agree with you?
Never done that.
I don't think
I've
I,
disagreed about
yeah.
coming off of meds.
Oh, okay. So you wanted to stay on an epilepsy medication, or was this for something else?
Yeah, he was trying to take me off of one, and it just freaked me out. And I was like, no, I'm good. It's not causing me any problems. I'm still taking it.
Just because you don't want to know what happens if you stop?
Pretty much.
Oh,
Every time something happens, like I go in and all they do is up the dose or something new, up the dose or add something new, up the dose, add a new one, up the dose, add a new one.
so if you had to choose between dropping the monster and the ineffective medication, which would it be?
I'll keep taking the pills.
So you would drop the monster before the meds. I guess you definitely want to keep that one. No
I'm gonna say
long-term effects aren't intimidating.
my memory is trash, but I'm doing okay at the moment.
Okay. That's the other thing too. I want to stay off the meds for a couple months to see if something like that changes. Like right now, I still have to write down everything. It's hilarious how people get offended when I don't remember their name from like talking to them 2 days before, and it's like, really, it's not you, it's it's me.
Everybody keeps telling me just take notes, and I'm like, why? I go back and read my notes, and I don't know what my notes mean.
That takes some practice. Ivan, have you ever had to switch medications or wanted to switch medications? You're muted.
Actually, yes. I'm really forgotten from. Uh, uh, it's a long story. It's so I'm forgot. I forgot. I'm really forgot about all of my medication I took. Uh, the thing is just uh the the funny thing is that I took my doctor choose from the start is Terlectal
Okay.
from my medication from the first time I got epilepsy, and until now until now it's already been 22 years I've got epilepsy. I still drank it. That's actually it's the vice versa, you know. But
Mm.
but but uh but if you ask the change in medication, I already forgot because it's too many.
It happens.
It's too good.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Jeff, anybody ever work with you on getting off of a medication, or did you have to kind of start the process when a medication
Um,
didn't work for you?
Twice, in my short time. They wanted to increase my lacosamide from 100 to 150, and I had terrible side effects at 150, so I cut it back to 100. Where, uh, I mean, as far as I know, it was okay.
Mhm.
And then after my EMU stay, they added Depakote, which seems to finally be working. I can't say for sure, but I seem to finally be getting over some of the fog I had on it to begin with. Not that I'm fog free, but that's a natural state.
So that's progress.
Yeah.
And other people in the comments are pretty much saying the same thing. If silicosamide isn't working, you definitely need to talk to the neurologist. That, you know, like tonic-clonics for every month for 4 months is not close enough to controlled. I come to the conclusion that I would consider it controlled if I can get to under like 3 or less focals and no tonic-clonics. If I can get those stats for like 3 months, then that'll be something to celebrate.
Is that possible?
Never
3
know till
months.
you try.
3 months without seizures.
I haven't had a tonic-clonic since July, and I haven't had a focal since September.
Nice.
Oh, wow, that's great.
Yes, you're
That's
amazing.
why I don't want to come off my meds,
I
Okay.
understand that.
because I'm doing okay. Life is looking up at the
Life is
moment.
good.
There you go.
And
I
I
like that vibe.
exercised a lot and drank a whole bottle of water today, Kate.
So proud of you.
Yeah, I gotta join you guys with the weekend workout, or I forgot what it's called. You guys got a
Fitness
lot.
Friday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you guys got a lot going on. got the book day or reading or something like that. I'm
Oh, there's
missing out
something
on
every
some
day
stuff.
with the music and the throwback Wednesdays or whatever Jeff got going on. I like that one. Anticonvulsants don't work for me when I'm having convulsions while taking them. This does not include the times I forgot to take my meds or I don't sleep, though. Anticonvulsants don't work for me when I'm having convulsions. Well, you don't expect those meds to work right away. The AEDs don't. It's not the Nasolim. Yeah, I don't know. This one's confused. I'm in the process of planning surgery. My seizures haven't stopped. They're actually getting worse. That's the most annoying thing in the world when when you're like prepped and okay for surgery, but then the seizures are you're having too many, and they say, okay, we can't do surgery now. You have to literally get the seizures under control, good enough to have the surgery, and
What do they
risk.
consider under control?
That's what I was gonna ask.
I think for me, it was no tonic on it for a month.
Hmm.
But then it's one of the surgeon, somebody on the surgery team, I think, suggested like, okay, well, if you stay under control, do you still even want to go through a surgery? And that's fucked up. Like, it took this long to get it under control just to get this stupid thing going, and now you're going to suggest that I put it off? No. But yeah, professionals are not always on the same team.
That's because
Right.
they've never had epilepsy.
Hmm.
I got something here. It says epilepsy surgery for my 9-year-old son. Hi, my son is 9 years old. He has had epilepsy since he was a year old. He started with infantile spasms at 6 months after a couple of medications. Got that handled. Then at 1, he started having epileptic seizures. He also had a condition called tuberous sclerosis, which means he has benign tumors in his brain, heart, and kidneys, and can grow anywhere on his body. He has multiple types of seizures, tonic-clonics, focal seizures, and subclinical seizures. We have tried at least 8 medications. Right now, he is on 3 seizure medications and everolimus, a chemo medication that will hopefully help his tumors and seizures. He has a VNS implanted last year. He was just approved for brain surgery. I'm here asking for people's experiences as we have 3 options and have our appointment to decide in January. His 3 options are DBS, RNS, and a couple of colostomy. Anyone have any experience with any of this? Thank you in advance.
So they approved him for all those, even with the other conditions. Do your
Correct.
research, get the second opinions, talk to as many surgery teams as you can about just what to be aware of. That's a big
Um,
big decision.
yeah, there was a lot going on there, and I wanted to know what exactly tuberous sclerosis was.
Oh yeah, it sounded like she was gonna
Um,
describe it.
yeah, there was a lot to describe. It is a genetic disorder that causes non-cancerous tumors to grow in various parts of the body. Mm,
Yeah, this is saying brain, kidneys, heart, lungs, and skin. So it's a genetic thing, mutation of 2 genes that can lead to a range of symptoms depending on the location and the size of the tumors. Okay, so this is one where you get a tumor and say it's, on, I don't know, I'm thinking like around your eyes or around something that'll cause other symptoms. Manifestations
yeah,
are
from what
skin
I'm reading.
abnormalities. Oh, seizures. That's one of the manifestations of tuberous sclerosis. Hmm. Developmental delays. And it's like addressing the TSC is imperative for maintaining it. So apparently this is one of those things that gets worse. They're saying early diagnosis is crucial for quality of life. Wow. And that was a child diagnosed. Yeah, definitely look into the surgery because that's got to be addressed.
Yeah, and then there was something else. Um, Everolimus. I don't know how to pronounce it. Everolimus.
So that's a medication, targeted
Oh,
cancer therapy. So apparently this child has cancer too. Oh wait, it's a targeted cancer therapy and immunosuppressant to prevent organ transplant rejection. Okay, so either the child has cancer or they already had an organ replaced.
either way, I'm so sorry to hear that.
It's a lot going on.
Yeah, I haven't had any of the DBS, RNS, or corpus callosum. I pray for the best, man. That's a horrible situation. You already have the VNS. You already got a lot going on. You're in my prayers, whoever this is. I can read some comments here. One says, I'm 32-year-old male, had an RNS since 2020, easiest surgery of my three. He may need a preliminary stereo EEG. These are tough. I've been seeing vast improvements in my seizure frequency and severity since the implant surgery. I still have surgery and probably will for a while, but it's a fraction of what I used to. The quarterly appointments and their data prove it. My medication has not really changed. They just tweak the RNS settings now. Overall, very content with the surgery and results. Please get you a free haircut. Did you guys have to cut your hair after any surgeries? Oh, I think only
Yeah,
one
and I
who's
got
had.
this nice little stripe that didn't grow back.
What?
Yeah, you can't really notice, but I'm aware of it.
That's why you always have the ponytail.
Uh, Part of the reason, but yeah.
Okay. Um, yeah, basically that situation for that child is a really rough situation. Uh, I'll read one more comment, then I'll move on. It says, I have RNS and it hasn't been perfect, but overall I consider it a great success and it has definitely helped improve my situation drastically. My total number of seizures is down by about 70%, and the seizures I do have are a lot less intense. The surgery wasn't fun, but honestly, it wasn't bad, and I was recovered pretty quickly. I've also been able to reduce my meds a lot, which is nice. What is the RNS? No. What is the DBS? Because I know there's three on here, and I don't know what. Oh, I
Oh,
know
that's one that's
two.
less invasive. Okay, this
But
is the one they use for Parkinson's and epilepsy. It's a procedure that involves implanting a battery-operated device that sends signals to specific areas in the brain. I'm looking to see where they actually put it. Oh, okay. This is another one that they put under the skin near in the chest. Okay, so it's another
so it
pacemaker type thing. Oh, that's right. I was confusing DBS with VNS.
so the DBS is near the VNS.
I think, well, the VNS is where they put something in your chest and then on the vagus nerve, but DBS goes from the chest and then it sends electrical signals to the brain. So I think, yeah, they do actually put something in your skull on this one.
Hmm.
I think they do another depth lead. Like with the RNS, you can get certain leads that are electrodes that are right on the surface of the brain, or you can get something called depth electrodes. It's like a little rod that goes deeper in to get reach closer to like hippocampus and those kinds of areas. and the DBS only uses the rod. So this one is actually probably the more invasive of. It's definitely more invasive than the VNS because it definitely has something that goes in your brain. But they don't take a piece of
And
your skull for the DBS.
they take a piece of skull and like don't put it back.
Yeah, craniotomy on the RNS.
So you just have a hole somewhere.
No, it's filled in with a nice little battery pack.
I'm sorry. I'm just don't know anything about it. This is just assumptions. Um, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Now I'm curious.
Pookie, read
There is no
Toaster's
substitute.
story today.
I did not read Toaster's story.
Read it and you'll understand about the part that they take out.
Should I read the whole thing?
Yeah,
Aren't they always really
yeah.
long?
well,
Yeah,
just
this
read
one
the,
Yeah,
is
just read
I
part
think
of it.
I think Jeff might have been talking about read it on your own time. We don't always have to read the whole
Yeah,
thing on
it's
here.
not right now, but you should read it because it explains what happens with that piece they take out.
they don't give you the option to keep that piece.
No, I was
What are you gonna do with it? Frame it?
well,
I
you
don't
know.
know, just thoughts. um yeah, I never seen a piece of the skull. That'd be interesting. I mean, me personally, I'd be like, can I see that little piece, you know?
I
You're just
don't
gonna
think I'd
throw it
have to
away
see it
anyway.
either.
Does anyone not notice absent seizures or focal seizures despite a clear EEG evidence? I used to notice my absent seizures quite clearly. Um, bluntly getting lost in conversation, the usual. As I have gotten older and switched medications, I have stopped noticing them, including my family and friends. I've had two 24-hour ambulatory EEGs that caught a couple of absent seizures throughout each period, all the way up to 25 seconds. 3 HZ spike wave. But I don't know what that is. They do not correlate to any times when I click the button on the device. From my brief research, a 25-second spike wave discharge will almost certainly affect awareness. Oh, there's a question mark after there. It says, from my brief research, a 25-second spike will discharge will certainly affect awareness. Is it possible that my absent seizures have evolved, or I am not getting good at subconsciously hiding them since I had them for so long? Has anyone else had similar experience?
Not sure what he's asking. I have absent
3HZ.
seizures.
He's asking about it sounds like how they evolved. 3HZ spike wave is what I'm seeing as the rhythmic, symmetrical, 3-second spikes and slow waves across the brain during a seizure. So think of like those EEG waves that you see on the EEGs. You know how it's just like a bunch of spike waves. Do you guys know what that looks like? Let me find a picture of it.
Yeah.
I'll put it in the
I
chat.
don't.
Okay. Okay, so this is an image of the EEG spike wave. And that's what this description is giving me the impression that it's a classic. Okay, this is what it calls it. It calls it like the classic spike wave. So this is like the, I don't know, like maybe what they think about like when they're teaching somebody how to read an EEG, this is would be like what's in the textbook to call it a 3HZ spike pattern.
I don't
And
exactly know what's bad and what's not. So the
well, they
big
tell you
lines are a seizure.
this is brain waves. So like I guess the spikes that are sharp pointed waves,
Yeah.
and then the waves are the slow rounded ones after the spike. And if like these pairs repeat about 3 times per second, then that means it's generalized. So like these ones appear across the whole brain. So I guess that's why there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, like you can tell which electrodes are picking up on it. And it's symmetrical. That's another important part, that it has to be on, the same two sides, symmetrical. And these are the spike waves associated with childhood absence epilepsy and photosensitive. It says sometimes seen in other generalized or focal epilepsies. Okay, so that's not telling you shit. It's associated with epilepsy, and they're not specifying that, they're saying all of them. Right. Brain injury or metabolic issues, like thyroid disorders. So it's a key marker for absent seizures, helping doctors distinguish them from other seizure types. Monitoring these patterns even at home. So they're talking about like on the portable EEGs, helps track seizure frequency in refractory cases. Okay, so we probably like all had this labeled. When the meds don't work, then they send you home like with the portable EEGs, probably looking for this pattern.
I got another
It's
post
a
here.
crapshoot.
Go ahead.
Which-
Crapshoot. What else?
It's a crapshoot. I mean, if you don't have a seizure during those 24 hours, it's meaningless.
It looks like this is the procedure they use to actually diagnose childhood epilepsy. It says a hallmark of this condition for childhood absence epilepsy, where the children start to wander off and you just don't know what's happening. Like they start having a focal seizure. So definitely sounds important for those cases.
Hmm.
I think this guy, the post sounded like he was trying to compare it to something though. So
That's what I
maybe
was
he saw
thinking.
3HZ now, but comparing it to a past EEG, yeah, I'd be interested too. Does that mean the epilepsy is getting worse if you're seeing seizures in like more parts of your brain? So yeah, sounds like this patient was just kind of looking for the professional, like the clinical, I don't know, analysis on comparing two EEGs.
I think one of the things they were asking also was, will it affect awareness? Because there's a question mark in here. It's not a question. It's kind of saying something and then putting a question mark behind it. It says, from my brief research, 25-second spike will discharge. 25-second spike wave discharge will almost certainly affect awareness. And then there's a question mark right there. I wouldn't know. So I don't even know why I'm bringing it up. But yeah, from this question mark, I don't know. Does this sound like epilepsy? My 12-year-old is currently has a cold and flu and has been saying that several times a day. Her brain glitches, like the lights go on and off, and then one more time a day, it's like her head on the inside lurches back, and if she's standing up, she starts to fall. I'm going to contact the doctor tomorrow, but does this sound like epilepsy? Hopefully not. One says, I don't know if it's epilepsy, but it makes sure that they are drinking lots of water. At my house, everything someone says something is wrong, we all say, in quote, drink water. It could be less, a little dehydrated from sickness, especially if taking Sudafed or Mucinex. Also, could be low blood sugar or low blood pressure. Any one of these, including seizures and other things, doctors will say, in quote, drink water, and ask if they are drinking water and extra water if they are sick. Hope they get better soon. For the child, I haven't had a cold or flu or anything like that affect my seizures. It's been a very long time since I've had a cold or something of that sort. The glitches, those sound like just thing that happens time to time. I don't know about a flu or cold causing it though. Can you get a flu and a cold? Because there's flu and colds here. You can have both at the same time. So you just get the cold or you get the flu. I gotta look that up now because
The flu is a form of a cold.
Yes, you can have a cold and the flu at the same time, a co-infection. It's relatively rare, though becoming more common with surges in respiratory viruses like COVID.
very interesting.
And it definitely takes longer to recover from. Mix of, cold signs, sneezing, runny nose, and the intense flu symptoms of like the fever, the achy, and, like really fatigued. So yeah, that sounds miserable. And it's for me, it's a fever. If I have a cold or one of those without a fever, then I can get away with not having a seizure. Because I'll probably just try to sleep as much as I can.
It sucks to be a mom during those times. And you got sick, and then you got a parent, then you got a sick, and yeah. Another comment here. It says if this has only been happening while sick, likely it's not a seizure. I'm wondering if her sinuses are congested, causing the lurching forward feeling, and if she is taking cold medication, that might be the culprit for the brain glitches, even without epilepsy. If they're seizures, it sounds like how many people describe absent seizures. If it happens outside of her being sick, definitely worth a doctor's visit. If you have good access to care, doctor visit isn't a bad idea regardless. Wait lists for neurology can be months long, so be prepared for that if her primary doctor wants to refer her there.
I would be suspicious of the medication that they're giving the child too, especially those cold meds, the cough syrups. Not a fan of those.
You guys, since we all have epilepsy, do you guys think it would be harder taking care of a child with epilepsy or just taking care of your epilepsy?
Totally case by case basis. Some children are so fucking resilient and like overcome shit that you don't think, like, some adults would just give up. So I can't help but have more faith in a child than an adult. That's
I
kind of
think it depends on the child.
The other problem with kids is that you don't know how they're doing because you're not them. You have to have really good communication or guess.
Mm. All right, I got something else right here. It says, um, I just want answers. Any advice? I got an ambulatory 24-hour EEG scheduled, and all too late, I realized that it falls exactly where, as per my tracking, I usually do not get my suspected focal aware seizures. I'm concerned that I won't get an attack, and this just provided zero answers. As I've read, these can be deeper in the brain and extremely hard to watch when not actively experiencing one. I'm curious if this one comes out clean and I have no episodes, can I still ask for an epileptic MRI in hopes of getting answers without having to jump through so many hoops? I had to read that seems more concrete for answers than an EEG where you have time to you have to time it just right. I am I delusional for wanting to ask for that? I'm a few hours into an EEG at home and I haven't had a derealization, deja vu, deja reveille, jamis vu, metallic taste, rising stomach sensation, etc. I feel like if I don't have one, I won't get answers on if they are epileptic or not epileptic in nature. I just want a concrete answer as I can get that. I hopefully do not have epilepsy or experiencing seizures, as both my psychologist and primary doctor keep insisting I get checked. Since epilepsy runs in my family and my sibling experienced auras for a few years, that That then evolved into grand mals. Also, any safety tips on how to make me more prone to getting these maybe not focals? They only told me to not bathe, do not sweat. Wait, they only told me not bathe, don't sweat, don't touch things that are connected to the wall, like the microwave or plugged into a computer. What does any of that have to do with anything?
Yeah, none of
Um,
that makes sense.
don't sweat, don't touch the wall, things plugged into the wall. Each case is different. I don't know what that has to do with anything. Safe tips. Um, listen to your neurologist because I have no idea what you have going on. I
And if they're
highly
saying
suggest.
something confusing, ask another doctor.
One comment here says, don't know if anyone's been diagnosed with epilepsy from an MRI. MRIs look at the interval structure of the brain, but they don't detect or infer electrical activity. There's one here that says, how many of us are on 3+ anti-seizure meds? I'm still fairly new to this journey. First seizure was in March 2025. I was having auras, minor seizure, multiple times per day, and major seizures at least once a month, requiring hospitalization. September requiring 3 hospitalizations. My neurologist finally found a combination of Keppra 1,500 milligrams twice a day, topiramate 100 milligrams twice a day, and oxycarbazepine 600 milligrams morning and 1,200 milligrams at night. I've gone a month with only 2 auras. What's your combination story? Um, I'm on lamotrigine, and that's all. Um, yeah, I can clap to that. Um,
So
I'm
what
on
was
4.
the and how was that? Like when they kept adding another one and another one, did you ever really have the goal of get it under control, drop another? Like, how do you
me
feel like
personally,
If for years it was get it under control so I could drive again. That was my goal. I want my life back. I want to be able to drive so I can do things. And I sold my car this weekend.
oh, you didn't tell it to me. I'm just kidding.
It's been a really big weekend, but I don't necessarily want to put it all on YouTube.
Yeah, gotcha. Um,
You're
But
right,
yeah,
folks.
I mean, I just for the longest time it was just I want to drive again. So it was up the dosage, add a med, whatever, and it was they put me on Keppra and up the dose and up the dose and up the dose until I turned into a angry suicidal person, and then it was okay off the Keppra and onto lamotrigine and did okay. It's for a little while, and then that wasn't working, so they added the zonisamide, and then it was up the dose on the zonisamide, and then well, that's still not working, so we're gonna add the oxcarbazepine. Well, that's working okay, and then well, let's up the dose on that, you know. And then, well, that's not working, so let's just add Xcopri in there too. And then let's raise the dose on that too.
and say night night?
yeah, I wonder, like, is there any, like,
I
is
drank a
there
bottle
any
of water
person?
first.
You said you tried water first?
I drank a bottle of water first. She was making faces at me.
You guys are both drinking Monster?
Oh
All
no,
right.
that's
Well,
not mine. That's daughter's. She has a collection over here.
mm. Um, so what's you guys' combination of medication? Mine is just lamotrigine And to be honest, I think I'm one of those cases to where I'm just never gonna be seizure free. You guys ever think that? Like, this is just me? That's how I feel. Like, I'm not. I mean, I do think about the what ifs, about what if I just never stop again. But honestly, a lot of my seizures, I don't do anything wrong for some reason. It just seems like I'm just gonna just have seizures. You know what I mean? It's like I did the same thing I did yesterday. I didn't eat on both days. I mean, this is just an example. Um, yeah, it's like I didn't eat yesterday, so why'd I have a seizure because I didn't eat today? Stuff like that. Um,
Well, I think if we don't set it as a goal, then we don't fail either. You know, if I now that I'm resigned to the fact that seizures are just part of life, if it stops, then that's a bonus. But if I don't get them under control, it's still just part, me. And since it's not a goal anymore, I'm not so obsessed at like, you know, feeling bad when it happens. Honestly, today I was really happy I got a nap. I'm thrilled. Nothing can bring me down today, not even a seizure.
Been up since 5.
oh wow. Um, so Kate, like this inspires me. At first, I thought it was such a bad idea. You're just not taking medication without letting a doctor know. But I'm just like curious now. Like, what if, what if I just don't take my medication? Like, because
Talk
it
to your
had me thinking.
doctor.
What I didn't think
Talk to your
about it
doctor.
overnight. I've just been like, what if? Because I
Definitely
think I'm gonna
talk
have
to your
seizures
doctor.
forever. I've come to a conclusion that I'm just gonna have seizures forever. But yeah, I'm gonna talk to my doctor and see if we can just live it out. Um,
And
yeah,
prepare to, if you do start to wean off, do it as slowly as possible. Don't ever change your dose more than like once in a month. Don't cut the pill in half. I got one of these little pill splitter things on Amazon, and it you open it up and it has a blade down the middle, and you put the pill in and like squish it down for those ones that aren't yeah, whatever that word is to break it makes it
Cord.
okay for you to break it. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, even like the tiniest ones you can split in like quarters and take that, it kind of like how you got all the joints set up. Those are rolled for a couple days. Split your pills for like the week and just include that as part of the routine. So you can do it, but definitely get something on record for it.
Priorities in life, get your joints rolled up and then split your pills.
yeah. There's somewhere around 16 to 17 there, but that's like 2 days. um, yeah. There are some comments here. One says, my first seizures were in January 2023 at 31 years old, worked up to 3 anti-seizure meds and one, yeah, down to 3 anti-seizure meds and one adjuvant to reduce side effects. Still has seizures. Got a VNS last May. Now I'm 100% seizure free. Lucky you.
Till the next one.
Right.
You never know. That's where I'm at. Like I was literally one day from my driver's license and I had a seizure. That's the things that kept telling me over and over again to not, like, you need to just sell your car and quit because
Accept
there's
it.
no right. This has happened so many times. Somebody's telling you something. You don't need to be driving.
I just respect you so much more for actually taking that into account because there's a lot of stubborn people out there that would just
It's
not
really
give up.
hard right now.
I got some other comments here. I'll read two. One says, started having them at 16. Now I'm 32, currently have a VNS and on 2 meds, excopiary and lamotrigine, and an antidepressant. Another comment here says, I've had laser.
Ablation.
No, this is 6 syllables.
Oh,
Yeah, about 20 letters. I'm gonna have to spell it out because I can't pronounce this.
type it.
AMYGDALOHIPPOCAMPECTOMY.
Surgical procedure to remove the hippocampus and amygdala, primarily to treat.
Amygdala hippocampium or something like that.
There you go.
Amygdala hippocamptomy, and right temporal craniotomy. The last one was in 2017. Still having seizures. Currently taking lamotrigine 200 milligrams twice a day. Carbamazepine, ER for 200 milligrams, 2 in the morning and 3 at night. And I'm starting clobazam 10 milligrams twice a day, and currently on lorazepam 2 milligrams as a rescue med.
That is exactly what I had for like 3 years before this. Those are all the same medications and the doses, and the extended release was the only pill I ever took, the Carbatrol, where if I missed one dose, I would have a seizure. So I don't miss
I
it.
was thinking that. I was like, if I get on multiple meds and then I miss one little piece of one dose, then it's gonna make me have more. And that's when I was like, I gotta talk to another neurologist within the next year, and yeah, more opinions. I got something else here. It says hesitant to start clobazam. My jurisdiction's healthcare is in shambles right now because of funding cuts, unnecessary restructuring, etc. Wait times for rushed appointments are hitting 6 months plus. I won't be able to see my neurologist again until March. A few weeks ago, he prescribed clobazam to treat JME. However, after having him ignore my questions about potential negative side effects and upon reading more about it, I don't think I want to take it. But I also don't know if I should go completely unmedicated for that long. Aside from Ativan as a rescue medication, reasons for not wanting clobazam include memory problems. Been there, done that with other medications, and I hate it so much. I'm unmedicated right now, and I feel clearer of mind than I have in a decade, even though I'm having several 60 to 90-minute clusters of myoclonic and absent seizures per week. My diagnosed pre-existing mood and anxiety disorder, my history of alcohol and drug abuse, and the fact that treating my Crohn's, been waiting months for that too, still waiting, no ETA, might help without anticonvulsants. Should I take the clobazam as prescribed until I get a different prescription? If that's what your neurologist or healthcare professional suggests, then I'll go with that.
Can you call the nurse line or something? I mean, they've got to have like a phone number you could call and talk to somebody or get a phone call, you would think.
Yeah, try to find somebody, whoever prescribed that medication. I'd say talk to them, and I'd say don't go med free. I mean,
Yeah.
No, but I heard today from a child that was on ADHD medication that he couldn't get the meds because of some kind of insurance glitch. And you know how the pharmacies used to have those little like rescue like kind of one or two doses until you could get a hold of the doctor if it was like a weekend or something like that. And the pharmacy wouldn't work with them now, so I get the impression that it's getting harder, and it wasn't a controlled substance. There wasn't any other red flags, but not all conditions or medications can actually, meds are like less accessible, I feel like. I don't know if it's cost or like what the deal is, but I'm hearing from more people that they can't get a dose to like until they get the refill. And that's really concerning.
Yeah, I got some Omvi and kind of hesitant to start the Omvi just because when I talked to the doctor to get it prescribed, we didn't really talk about much. And that's what bothered me because we didn't talk about much. And then he was just like, you should take these Omvi for the myoclonics. And I was like, we had a 5-minute conversation. And then all you heard is I was having myoclonics and you suggested Omvi. Like there was no test done, nothing. There was just, well, I'm having these myoclonics every now and then. And he was like, oh, take Omvi. Like, didn't say what kind of myoclonics, how often they were, how severe they are. It was just, there's Omvi for that. And that was only because I
Blows
told him
my
I wouldn't
mind.
take Keppra.
Blows my mind.
Yeah, like I said, he offered Keppra first, and I told him I'm not taking that. And then he said, why not? And I said, because I'm choosing not to take that medication. And I have that choice. And it felt so good saying that, just like letting him know I have the option. I don't have to listen to you. That isn't exact words, but yeah, that's how I felt. um, and yeah, I just told him I'm not going to take Keppra. And then he just threw Omvi out there, just quickest other option, I guess. I don't know. Doctors these days.
Their
Uh,
first opinion is always let me throw pills at you.
yeah.
Or you need to eat better or lose weight. Like it's either diet and your diet and exercise because you're too fat, or that let me throw pills at you. It's one of the two. It's
Doctors, I
ridiculous.
don't know. Right.
How do you cope with seizures in public? The aftermath of having seizures in public. I always end up feeling ashamed and embarrassed, even though I know it's not something I can control. Seizures in public, I don't usually remember until I'm in the car or ambulance or like somewhere on the way home. So I don't really have too much, problems with seizures in public, but that's just because I don't remember them and haven't had one in a long time. What about you guys?
Those are the fun ones. Those are
Those
the
are the
fun ones where I
ones
get to
where,
ask everybody a story. Like, what
oh
happened,
yeah.
guys? We were in Walmart looking at ice cream, and I had a tonic, one or two. Yeah. And ones that have stories for some reason. I like those seizures. I mean, I don't like the seizures. I like the events. I don't like the ones where I have one in the shower and you don't have a story. You just came in and I was on the floor. I hate those ones. Um, yeah, I'd rather have a story and not necessarily
I'm
traumatize people, but have a story.
You also get to explore other people's houses.
Right. Other people's floors. Let me try out your floor.
I once having a attack in a cafe, and it's pretty bad, and everybody watching at me, and yes, it's bad. Yes, bad.
Yeah, that
Um,
that can be embarrassing when you know everyone's looking at you.
Yeah.
That, once again, that's why I don't mind not remembering and just try to make notes of like not how I felt necessarily, but I don't include that kind of stuff in the notes of like feeling embarrassed or unless I think it was like worked up right before the seizure, like something to cause it. I still just stick to the facts when I take notes about the seizures. This one's saying, I hear you. I had a Friday evening, I had a seizure on the street. It was awful. A guy saw me, called an ambulance. What was even harder for me is that the next day the guy saw me on the street. He's the neighbor and asked me how I was doing. I was so ashamed. I wanted to sink into the ground. I'm so scared if it'll happen again. My worst fear is that it happens in public. Yeah, I guess that's not how you want to be introduced to somebody, and you don't want to meet your neighbors like that.
Right.
I always feel
I
obligated to let them know, like, I'm not having seizures because I'm like a crackhead. I, if it's somebody that I'm going to see around, then I know they're making assumptions, and
yeah.
that's annoying.
They're gonna be like, the neighbor had a seizure in front of me. I think it's using. Like that's the only other option. But yeah. I like people to see. That sounds so dumb. Um, yeah, I like the seizures where people see them. I don't exactly like the story behind it, but I like to know what happened because the seizures where I don't know what happened, I'm coming up with scars and wounds that I don't know how it
Yeah,
happened and don't know how it occurred.
yeah,
And yeah,
exactly
so
agree.
yeah,
Exactly.
rather than tell me a little story, um, yeah, because yeah, now I got never mind. Oh, I got a post here. It says focal aware seizures at night. Just wondering if anyone else has had this. In the last week, I've started having focal aware seizures that wake me up at night. Normally, I just get them during the day. So it's like I start having them in my dream and I wake up mid seizure, so it's disorientating. Is this common? I don't know if I should tell my doctor. It happened 3 times last night. Huh. I then get too scared to go back to sleep, so I'm currently exhausted all the time. This is all so new to me. I've only recently been diagnosed with front temporal epilepsy, uh, left temporal, front temporal focal epilepsy. There. The question was there, um, is this common? Uh, for me, no. Having focal seizures at night, well, in my sleep. Wait, this says at night and not necessarily in your sleep. I've had some in my sleep to where it may have been a tonic. I don't know. I think I've woke up at the end of the shaking and just stood up and nothing was wrong, and then wake up further in the morning and
Somebody else about the seizures in public is saying, I got used to it. People think I'm pranking them or pulling a stunt, and now I just laugh it off. So,
mm,
I mean, now that the seizures are a little less severe, feel like I'm not confused for as long after, so that's a benefit. If you have one in public, even if it's a bad one, but within a minute you're not just conscious but actually coherent, yeah, if you can play it off, that's what I would go with. The incontinence is annoying though. Can't avoid that. I mean, that made the biggest difference. When
that's
you
the
can,
worst.
that's the best part. Or that was the biggest step in feeling like I had a chance of getting it under control. Like when that stopped, it's like, okay, so something's
Yeah,
working, something's getting better. There's a chance.
yeah. Mine was horrible because mine was I didn't do it the first time, but I did it the second time, and I was like, "What is this about?" And then that's when they were like, "You have epilepsy." And then the next time I peed, and I'm like, "Oh my goodness, why am I peeing on myself?" And then the third time I peed, and I'm like, "What is going on?" And it's like, "Is this what goes with this?" And then the next time, no pee for like 4 times. Um, so yeah, and then one day it's just I haven't peed in years. And when I do, that means something was wrong. That means I wasn't paying attention to something, and something happen worse than it happened last time. That's usually how it happens. Yeah, the incontinence is the worst. Lets me know I'm human though. It's very humbling.
There you go. And that you're not alone.
Right.
Nocturnal seizures. Anyone have seizures in their sleep that are not tonic-clonic? If so, how do you feel the next day? I will have sore muscles sometimes. I'll be extra tired and have a difficult time finding words for things. My seizures the next, like, if I only suspect if I wake up more confused than usual or just like not feeling right. I don't know how to describe it. But again, I can't really confirm if that was a focal. So I do suspect having seizures at night that are not tonic-clonic, and that's just based on like how if there's more confusion than there should be. What about you guys?
You
What's
just
the meaning of
described.
tonic?
Go ahead,
Go
Isaac.
ahead.
What's the mean? What's the meaning of tonic clonic?
A tonic-clonic seizure is when there's convulsions. So you get, really tense, there's
Yeah,
convulsions.
that's
Okay.
me. That's me. That's me.
And do you have seizures that are not tonic-clonic, the focal seizures where you during, when you're awake,
Where?
a focal
Yeah,
seizure is
me too.
where like you're conscious but not aware.
Yeah, me too.
Do you have those at night though? Do you think you ever have the focal seizures in your
Yeah,
sleep? How do you
yeah, and
know?
at sleep because yeah, my family tell me, and then sometimes my daughter, my wife, my mom,
Well, the
my
confusing
dad.
part is that people can't generally see you having a focal seizure in your sleep. I mean, do you have like twitches or something happens? Like how do they know if you're having a focal seizure? Those are the kinds where you're
Mm,
not tensing up, you're not like you're not moving around during a focal.
oh, you mean the yeah like frizzling like something like that?
It's another kind of seizure where you don't move like in a tonic-clonic. And this person's asking if you have that in your sleep, then how do you know?
Do you see my
Mm,
video in my in my video that I share?
I see that.
I Go ahead.
You see that Pookie?
Yes.
Is that is that tonic clonic? I don't know. I don't know.
Um, to be honest, I'm not 100% sure. Uh, we gotta let Kate see that video. Kate, there was um something happened to where can you explain to Kate exactly what happened?
Let me share again. Let me share again.
I don't
Do you want me
exactly
to?
know how to express what happened
Okay. This is
without
this
it
is
sounding
when
offensive.
this is when when I have a seizure at night and at sleep.
I'm gonna post the video of what had happened. Uh,
I don't
yeah,
know.
to explain it, there was, I don't even know the exact word. I guess there was some behavior happening to where
I found it.
it looked as if he might have been, oh Lord. Shit. Um,
You found it, Pookie?
Well, that's
okay, yeah, I
definitely
found
not,
it now.
I think that's tonic-clonic. I don't think that's a focal.
Oh, that's not vocal.
Yeah, so far that doesn't look like a focal because or at least it doesn't start that way. When you start by thrashing around, um, assuming they would probably call that a tonic-clonic. But it's almost like like
Okay.
the TC was short. Like it wasn't a long time. There wasn't a lot of convulsions for more than like a couple seconds, and then you were laying down for a few minutes. Like maybe there was a focal after that, but I mean, you feel different. Like the tonic-clonics are always more sore. That the headache is in a different part for me. So probably just have to like record the details and notice a difference that way.
Okay.
Dropped everything as we were talking, and yeah.
No.
Well, all the
Can you
joints
recover it?
just rolled onto the floor, but luckily the weight
I
didn't
saw like an
fall.
eighth waiting to be rolled.
That's more than eighth.
Yeah.
It's like
Okay.
half ounce. Yeah, I was trying to talk and roll and explain things to you, and the joints just.
That's a disaster.
Um,
Okay, so do you want to do
yeah.
damage control and I'll check another, just start on another one or?
No, you can start on it after I start on this one. Well, that makes no sense. After I'm done with this one, there we go. One here, it says how epilepsy changes you. Do you believe epilepsy have a fundamental impact on you and not just your well-being, but your entire conscience, your personality, and the way you talk to people, even if you recover somehow the seizures, even if you recover somehow and the seizures stop, are you ever going to be the same person again? Is that a good or bad thing? Does epilepsy permanently change you? Have you had a period of very bad seizures and felt you got disconnected from others? Then having to continue, then having it continue that way despite the condition improving and seizures getting less over time? Does epilepsy bring you uncurable PTSD? Lots of interesting questions. Sorry, I don't answer to all of them, but I read all of them.
All right, which one to answer first?
I need to read them again, honestly.
No.
It says, do you believe epilepsy have a fundamental impact on your well-being? Not just your conscious, not just your well-being, but your conscience. Your even if you recover somehow and seizure stop, do you ever going to be the same person? Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Does epilepsy permanently change you? Those were 4 questions in a row.
I'm
Does
gonna go with quality of life and epilepsy go hand in hand. I don't see a change in who you are. I think I think of it as, just, I don't know, I don't want to say like growing up, but that's kind of how I look at it.
Yeah, are you ever going to be the same person if you do recover and the seizure stop? Yes, you're going to be the same person. Does epilepsy change you permanently? I don't say that because eventually you'll get it under control or you'll get to a point to where you're just like, this isn't changing and I just got to deal with it. It might change you momentarily, but you'll get a hand on it and eventually not be as much as to where you have to make a post saying that everything is bad about it. No, but I can see in the beginning where it did change me. And I was just like, everything is changing. I was like, I have epilepsy. Nothing matters anymore. My health, my life, my family. I gave up on everything. I'm just like, well, I can't do anything. Might as well just do everything that I'm not supposed to do. Yeah, I was bad when I got it. I was very not disciplined. So yeah, epilepsy. I was controlling it myself, and I was not controlling it. I thought just giving up on it and just letting it take me as a 16-year-old, I was just like, this is life. Couldn't drive. Everything was bad. Everything.
But now looking
Yeah.
back, those challenging times, even though the epilepsy was a big part of it, still made you a better man today. So you could look at it like that, you know? Don't give the epilepsy credit for changing you, but I don't know, enhancing long term. I don't know. I think that we're all stronger and better for making it this far and doing well. I think everybody in this room is doing well. That's my opinion.
I'm doing okay, I'd say. But what I would say is that, like, when eventually the seizures slowed down, is when I was like, okay, I'm stopping to have them. Maybe I'm starting to do something right. Start paying attention to my health. Come to find out, I just found out that I was not taking my medication. I think there was like a 2-year period where I wasn't taking anything at all. I found that out a few weeks back. So yeah, there was that point in time where I was just like really careless. I was just like, I'm useless. I can't do anything. I can't help anyone. I can't work. I can't do this. Can't do that. Yeah, I was like, why take medication? Can't do anything. It's not going anywhere. Yeah, that was a very bad attitude to have at 16, 17, or any age. But yeah, it can change you. Don't let it permanently change you. I won't say that. And permanent change, for lack of better words, that might be something it would do to a weak person. Depending on how strong you are, not physically, but like mentally, seizures will make you angry. Don't let it get the best of you. It's just a personal opinion. But there are some comments here. One says, I've had seizures that changed my brain for a few months, like my vocabulary changed. I knew what I wanted to say, but my brain did not find fitting words. In those months, I would always feel really stupid and just slower overall, personality wise. I would say I've just become way more aware of what trigger could be around me and stop being super reckless. Me too. Just stop being super reckless. A few more comments. One says, for me, it changed my personality 180. I can't even describe to my family why it changed. Another comment, one says, I've been epileptic for only 5 years and I'm in my 60s. I feel like a completely different person, or about 30% of what I used to be. It's not a good feeling. I am eternally grateful that I had a full life before the TBI.
Okay, I'm on medication for over a year now. Haven't had seizures once I started taking the medication. Now I doubt myself if I'm really having a seizure or is it just my imagination or I'm just imagining it all along. Okay, on medication for over a year and haven't had any seizures since starting the meds. They don't give any background on like how many seizures they had before or what caused it or anything else.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, is they might be someone who just doing something for someone else, maybe, that gave no description of anything,
Yeah,
not
and this
even a
person
bad
just sounds
seizure.
suspicious. Hey, but I
Yeah,
mean, the number one comment is some people have seizures that are immediately controlled by medication. Mine
yeah,
weren't controlled by any for 22 years, but I've talked to people whose seizures stopped after the very first one. If you were diagnosed and the meds helped, don't question it, just celebrate it.
yeah. I think it's possible to maybe only have one. Like you said, there's some people who get on a medication and it just works for them, and there's those people who get it as kids and then it just stops for them and it just doesn't come back. Um, There are those ones.
This
Personally
example is
believe.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
okay. This person saying I was in the hospital or I had one seizure, had me in the hospital for 4 days, started meds. I didn't have another seizure for 5 years, and that only happened after I missed several doses. I went for several more years with no seizures, and I actually started to wonder if I really still needed to take any meds. Maybe the seizures were actually gone. Then my neuro wanted me to try a different medicine. So over the course of a month, I weaned off my first medication, increased the dose of the new medication. When I was finally totally off the old medication for 2 whole days, I had the longest and worst tonic-clonic I've ever had. This is what completely convinced me that I will always need to take my meds to control the seizures. What the fuck is wrong with that doctor? This person was controlled for 5 years, or just several years. And then the doctor recommended they try a different medication. Being controlled. Wow. And that patient had the worst tonic-clonic ever when they switched medication for no reason. That's a shame.
Right. Yeah, that's why I'm big on second opinions these days. Yeah, don't just listen to them because they're the doctor.
Please take your medication as prescribed or whatever works for you. We're not doctors.